Hello there. Another request episode, this time from David Andreassian, which requested MGM Home Entertainment. This episode is finally coming out after months and months of anticipation. So, let's jump right into the background information. Originally founded in 1973 as MGM Home Video, they joined forces with CBS Video Enterprises in 1979 and formed MGM CBS Home Video, which started releasing titles from both MGM and CBS on October 8, 1980. In 1982, due to the acquisition of United Artists, MGM CBS was renamed to MGM UA Home Video. Nowadays, MGM's titles are being distributed by Studio Distribution Services, which was a company formed by Warner and Universal to distribute their stuff. Those are the major aspects of their background history. But there are more pieces to the puzzle. You can research that if you want. Now, they've had quite the list of logos during their eras, and pretty interesting ones too. This will definitely be an interesting episode. Our first logo came out in 1980, along with the company's first few releases on home video. Huh. Interesting to see a very decently animated logo for something from the early 80s. Like, it's got a nice little vibe to all of it, even though the animation is still pretty cheesy. Honestly, I don't know what else to say about this one. It's just like a cool first entry for a Hollywood studio and on home video. Like, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say for this logo. Let's move on to the next one, which, like, yeah, this one, the one I just showed you, lasted for a bit before it got replaced by the next one, which, well, here it is. Oh my god, now that's what I'm talking about. This is absolutely worthy of succeeding the first logo. I guess you could consider the previous logo as a prototype of sorts. And also, as you may have noticed, the classic trumpet sound you easily associate with MGM UA is finally here. I honestly really love this logo's graphics and animation too. About the fanfare, I know the ending is slightly different, but you get the idea. The trumpet sound that will be used in the next logo can be found in the CBS video logo, which I didn't include in this video because it's technically a separate label, a separate home video company in itself. Thanks for the note, David. Now, a bonus logo, technically serving as a piece of the company's history, but at the same time not being a primary logo, existed with an obscure label from MGM CBS called First Run Home Video Theater, which used to release rental-only VHS tapes, which are now super-duper rare because, well, they're rental-only, and there were fewer tapes released under this label, so that's what made it rare. So this logo went unknown for some time until my boy David uploaded it, and here it is.
Peter Falk takes a walk on the wild side with this offbeat excursion into the world of female wrestling. All the marbles.
Nice find. Credit to David Andreassian, by the way. Now, this logo only lasted for 1 year before getting replaced with the next one after the MGM UA renaming, and this one is easily a classic if you grew up in the 80s. Told ya! I honestly really like this logo because of its animation and music. Sure, a black background seems kind of boring, but everything else makes up for it. And the CBS video trumpets are back and still as triumphant as ever. I really like this logo's theme. A great logo indeed. Our next one came out in 1989 and surprisingly lasted all the way until 2005. Who would have thought of that? Even when the company was renamed, this was being used. Here it goes now. pretty darn boring, but at the same time pretty cool. As an opening logo, this proves to be a pathetic replacement for the last logo, but as a closing variant, which it was primarily used for after some time, this fits well. Apparently, this was based on MGM UA's hologram stickers used before this came out, and I can definitely see the influence with the background and all of the different texts floating around and the change of colors. I really like this, even though it's got little to no animation. Our next one is another classic, this time from the early DVD era, like the mid-90s. It was also used on VHS, by the way. And technically, the last logo of the MGM UA era, if you don't count this one, which was used until 2005. Well, here it goes. This is absolutely magnificent! Basically, everything comes together beautifully in this logo, from the initial concept to the final result. What's not to love about this logo? This one is one of my personal favorites from this entire collection because of, well, the everything. I've got one variant for this, and it appeared as a closing variant for MGM's UA's early DVDs and VHSs of the time. Now, as MGM entered the DVD age... Oh, wait a second, I need to show you the closing variant. Here it goes. Now, as MGM entered the DVD age, of course they had to create an identifier for this new format. First, let me show you the logo used in VHSs of the transitional period of VHS to DVD. Yikes, what a boring and unimaginative logo compared to all of the previous ones we've seen. Like, come on, is that the best they could come up with? Let's just move on to their first DVD logo. Honestly, while this logo is a significant step up from the previous one, it still doesn't match the greatness found in the final MGM UA logo. Because, well, just compare the two. It's actually kind of an unfair comparison, because one is significantly superior to the other. In this case, the MGM UA logo is superior to the MGM DVD logo, just in case you couldn't tell. So yeah. I don't really have any more words to describe this with. Our next logo is my first encounter with MGM on DVD. Hit it! Another magnificent entry from MGM. Finally, we're back to the standards of the final MGM UA logo. I love the fact they used some of their most recognizable movie clips and put them all here as a big ol' homage to their history and now how it's all being put onto DVD, with a large library of films like MGM. An amazing logo indeed. Somehow this logo kept being used on MGM's releases until 2019. Before then, they had already used a de facto home video logo, their own movie logo with no changes whatsoever, but somehow they still kept using this in tandem with it. Another proof of this logo's power. Well, that just about wraps up this episode, and I hope you liked it and my new shirt and design. Well, the new design is because I wanted to create a more high quality version of this little original character, because I had deleted the original files for the character earlier this year, so I had to trace it over with the blue shirt that you've seen in the last 2 episodes. But yeah, I don't know why I removed those ones, but I decided to create this new one, which was actually a good experience, all things considered. And yeah, the Muppets and Star Wars are really 2 of the things I most love. That and stuff like Aardman and Pixar films, because who can blame me? See you next time!